Jupiter in the first house makes one beautiful and fortunate, making one generous, kind hearted, and doing good deeds. They are healthy and long lived with happy children. Examples of Jupiter in the first house are Tom Hanks, Ross Perot, Celine Dion, Claudia Schiffer, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Demi Moore, and Jennifer Aniston. Jupiter in the second house gives eloquent speech with making one good orators with beautiful voice. They enjoy good food and have a beautiful face. They are wealthy and educated. Examples of Jupiter in the second house are Ajay Devgan, Meg Ryan, Matt LeBlanc, Meg Ryan twice, Kirsten Stewart, Roger Federer, Bill Gates, and Britney Spears. Jupiter in the third house makes one disobedient and lacks discipline. They are uncooperative and selfish, overshadowed by their peers and teammates, doing ill deeds and unwise. Examples of Jupiter in the third are Dhanush, Gordon Ramsay, Halle Berry, Jessica Alba, Megan Fox, Uma Thurman, Matthew Perry, and Johnny Carson. Jupiter in the fourth house makes one happy in terms of mother, relatives, friends, and children. They are wealthy and enjoy good home and vehicles. Example of Jupiter in the fourth house are Adolf Hitler, Ted Bundy, James Spader, John Krasinski, Kirsten Dunst, Jim Carrey, Salman Khan, Novak Djokovic, and Steffi Graf. Jupiter in the fifth house gives worries related to children, makes one intellectual, wise, and learned, and they are good at administration. Examples of Jupiter in the fifth house are Brad Pitt, Farrah Fawcett, Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Pfeiffer, George Foreman, Rafael Nadal, Matthew McConaughey, and Steven Spielberg. Jupiter in the sixth house makes one lazy and undisciplined. They avoid dealing with problems or enemies. They avoid competition and are not good at dealing with defeat or defamation. They rely on magic or spells instead of facing challenges. Some examples of Jupiter in the sixth are Ben Affleck, Brendan Fraser, Bruce Lee, Hrithik Roshan, Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Tiger Shroff. Jupiter in the seventh house gives a good and fruitful marriage. They have good fortune and are blessed. They are attractive, generous, and magnanimous, and make a good parent. Examples of Jupiter in the seventh house are Charles Manson, James Garner, Marilyn Monroe, Meryl Streep, Sean Connery, Bjorn Borg, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli. Jupiter in the eighth house makes one long lived, giving a career in service. It makes one unclean or dirty physically or habit wise. Gives inheritance but also makes one poor. Examples of Jupiter in the eighth house are Kiefer Sutherland, David Berkowitz, Clint Eastwood, Grace Kelly, Andy Murray, Tiger Woods, and LeBron James. Jupiter in the ninth house makes one fortunate. Excellent administrator. They're fortunate with wealth and children, and they like doing good deeds. They fulfill their responsibilities. Example of Jupiter in the ninth house are Richard Harris, Johnny Depp, Tom Selleck, Elizabeth Taylor, Sting, Bridget Nielsen, Pele, and Benito Mussolini. Jupiter in the 10th house makes one responsible, doing good deeds. They're wealthy through their work and have a good name and reputation. They're loving and affectionate, intellectual and wise. Examples of Jupiter in the 10th house are Nicole Kidman, Christopher Reeves, Susan Sarandon, Lisa Kudrow, Chris Pratt, Linda Goodman, George Michael. Jupiter in the 11th house gives good profitability, gains, and makes one wealthy with few children. They have luxuries and a good life and good vehicles. Example, Kevin Costner, Naomi Watts, Michael Douglas, Jim Caviezel, Chris Evans, Kurt Cobain, Nelson Rockefeller, and Steve Jobs. Jupiter in the 12th house makes one unfriendly and inimical, doing bad deeds, with bad speech and childish. They are lazy and servile. Example: George Clooney, Martin Scorsese, Usher, Cindy Crawford, Oliver Stone, and Wayne Gretzky.